More action from the ice hockey competition in Norway. Day 8, the Winter Olympics, and it's Sweden against USA. The Swedes are looking very, very strong indeed, with a draw against the Slovakians in their first outing, and then they went on to beat the Italians 4-1 and the French 7-1. The Americans had a draw in their first outing also against the French 4-4. They then drew the Slovakians 3 apiece, and the same result against the Canadians. So the Americans are unbeaten, but they're looking for their first win.
They need a win because the Swedes are now 1 point behind the Slovakians after their win today over Canada, and the Americans have the Italians knocking on their door after the Italians have just beaten the French.
So a surprise upset there. The Italians beating the French earlier on today. We'll bring you more of that later, but right now it's Junsson for Sweden, tapping it up on the left wing. And the Swedes trying to get something going. That comes right back to Michael Dunham, who's out there for the Americans.
Dunham given the nod by Coach Taylor to start this game. He stopped 64 out of 68 shots in pre-Olympic games against Swedish A and B teams.
Salo came out in a hurry to knock that away. Salo's stick is behind the goal, and the Americans, Laviolette takes the shot. Marchand, who was in there initially a minute ago, is on the puck now. Marchand moving with Johnson. Johnson taps it all the way back to the blue. That's flipped in. An ordinary stick there for Salo as he makes the save, and Ferraro fired it in. Some quick thinking from the Swedes, and the Swedes drop it all the way back. Forsberg flipped it up, and here comes Lube. Right in front, a little chip away. Julin is there now. Julin looking for places to go, and the Swedes regain their composure and start moving the puck around in the American zone. That comes to the high slot area. The Americans now coming back quickly. Lilly taken off the puck, and Roberts brings it in a hurry, but the offside whistle blows. Well, big save by this guy, who is New York Islanders' 5th draft choice in '93, and then he lost his stick for a while. Let's look at the action again.
Going right at Salo, a good poke check. Salo hasn't had much action, taking the puck away from the Americans nicely. Salo playing with an ordinary stick. That's a good move by his helpers in front of him just to get him a stick to play with, as his goaltending stick was behind the net.
Face-off outside the blue, and the Swedes quick to get it up to the blue. 1:48 gone in the first period. An all-important game for both teams as they try to climb that table. The Americans in particular want to make it to the table. Swedes working right in, big shot. Berglund got a piece of that. Dunham stretched, and it missed the net. A little tap over onto the right side. Berglund again muscled in the corner. Lilly is hit behind the net. Both teams throwing their weight around there in the early stages of this one. The Americans back on the attack now. The chance, the shot right on the goal. Richter got a piece of that. Salo went down on the pads, and back comes 14th Stillman. Stillman gets it up. Kjellberg right in front as he's dragged down. And the whistle blows as the officials get in there to separate the two teams. And the Czech referee calls his first penalty. Roberts into the box.
Hooking is the call around the outside. Kjellberg, big strong forward on the move, looking to get a shot. Roberts pulling him down. The Swedes are the first power play of this game. Look earlier at Berglund going just wide.
Face-off in the American zone. Hornskog gets it back. Stillman taps it up along the boards to Lube. Lube gives that one away, and the Americans can only get it as far as Stillman. Hack and Lube working hard against Laviolette. Laviolette won that battle, and the Americans come down, slow it down a little as they just want to kill off this penalty. Drury tapped it into the corner. Stillman slows it down and waits for a little support. Hack and Lube, rink-wide pass. 27 Henriksen goes after. Stillman is going in behind his own net with Drury all over his case. Stillman flips it up on the wing. Lube tried to tap it through the skates, and Crawley got a piece of that and just slowed it down enough. Salo comes out and throws it into neutral ice territory. 1:09 now remaining on the power play. Himes for the USA. Rattles that down the ice. Both the Americans and the Swedes will change. Junsson drops it off. Back pass by Bergqvist. Working with Forsberg. Forsberg. Backhander comes all the way out the blue line and down to the Swedish blue line. 39 seconds on the power play. Roberts still seeing it out for hooking. The Americans now putting on a little pressure. Big check on Sacco. He's taken out of the plate. Forsberg winds up. Shot right of the target. Wicked bounce out front. Hansson fanned on the rebound. Junsson lets it go. Hansson right in front. Martin clears it high. Still not out of the zone. Junsson calling for it on this side. Big shot again. Misses the net completely. Hansson went in again to get that rebound, and the Americans eventually clear it.
Boye got all of that shot from the blue line going just wide. The crowd having to react twice. They were yelling and screaming as Sacco appeared to be held at one end of the ice. The play went on, and the Swedes had 3 or 4 good shots on the American goal.
Rydmark lets it fly, and Dunham gets in front of that one. No score in this one. All the way down the ice, the Americans are back at full strength.
The Americans know that to be successful in this game, they will have to stay out of the penalty box. That really goes without saying. Hacken, Lube, Mats Naslund, Forsberg, you can't allow these guys to have the man advantage.
Well, I think there's a very good chance that these teams will be close at the end of this one. In the 91 World Championships, they had a 4-4 draw. In the Olympics in 92, it was a 3-3 draw. And in the World Championships in the same year, it was a 4-4 draw. So they do play some close, tight-checking hockey out there. Johansson back to the blue. Big shot. Took a deflection off a skate. And the Americans get it out of the zone. Getting back quickly is Junsson, number 20, to defend. Junsson along the boards, trying to shake off a check. Ferraro tipping it over. Drury spins and drops it back to the blue. That bounced off a skate from Himes and the big number 20. Junsson leaves it for Eriksson, number 16. Offside is the call.
The U.S. defensemen doing what they're supposed to do, stopping the Swedes right at the blue line, or at least making them make a decision as to what they're going to do, not allowing them to just walk in and start working their drop passes.
Inside the American zone. Flipped up to the far side, and Crowley rattles it off the woodwork. The Swedes being pressured by the Americans. Julin wraps it all the way down the ice, and we'll have another icing call. Another excellent crowd here in Hacken Hall. Some royalty, a lot of ice hockey coaches, a lot of competitors from other sports are here enjoying this one. This afternoon we saw possibly one of the best games in the competition, with the Slovaks showing their strength, showing their class, beating the Canadians 3-1. Big shot. Salo spread the right leg out. That goes over the blue line. A misunderstanding there as Ferraro picks it up for the USA. The Alveolet was stranded on the blue. Ferraro pushes that up on the left side. The Swedes pump it right back in. And we have another whistle on the play with Crowley going deep. Crowley was Toronto's 4th round draft pick back in '88. Marchant on your screens, a New York draft choice. And they certainly do have a lot of NHL prospects on that team. I got to watch when I say Marchant, because he went to the same school as Mr. Beaupré. And I won't tell the world that you're wearing that sweatshirt again. Bounces off a sweater. And Roberts picks it up, throws it over. A chance for the Americans now. Boye wrestles on the far side, taking Beaupré out of play. Ornskog picks it up and pushes it up to Lube. Lube has got Kjellberg. Lube right through. Kjellberg shoots, and a great save by Dunham as he moved out to cut down the angle.
Standing up, taking the angle away. A great pass from Håkon Lube through to Kjellberg. You can see how the Swedes are so good at twisting the opposition up.
Martin got it out of the zone, but the Swedes shoot it right back in again. Martin is there for USA. A little tap forward, and you can see how quickly the Swedes are rushing up to close down the Americans at their own blue line. Never mind stacking their own blue line, they're stacking the Americans' blue line. Svensson circles and weaves, pushes that away. Sacco got a stick to it. It bounces into the American zone as Brett Hauer. Richter along the boards. The Americans now get to their own blue line, out to the red line. Lazaro, who spent some time with the Ottawa Senators, pushes it in for Sacco. Svensson popped it out. And the Swedes coming out in numbers. Svensson again on the far side, elects to push that along the boards. Hansson. Hansson muscles. Richter is there. And Laviolette is brought down.
A pair of Swedes and a pair of Americans coming together in the corner. Tripping is the call. On his way to the penalty box slowly is one Roger Hansson. Hansson getting involved with the Americans in the corner, brings his man down.
So the Americans with a power play with Hansson sitting. And the Swedes, pretty impressive penalty killing statistics out there. Face-off just outside the blue. A little push and a shove from the Rolin. Junsson in the face-off circle. Junsson trying to get that away from Ralston now. The Americans with Roberts tipping it back deep. The Americans need to score early on this team, and they need to keep up the pressure because the Swedes are not going to sit back. They're very powerful. Beaupré, weak shot in, tipped away. Ciabaglia got a piece of it. Ciabaglia along the boards. Big slash from Stillman. Ciabaglia sends it around to the far side. Ralston all the way back to the blue. That comes out over the blue. And Roberts gets it right up to Ciabaglia again. A chance now right out front. Drury was cruising right in front of the net. Stillman goes after his man. Rudmark is out there. Shot! Good save by Salo. Ralston got the stick to it, and Roberts again can't keep it in. Good stuff from Rudmark as the penalty ticks down. 1:05 remaining. The Swedes now try to get it further out of the zone, but the Americans bring it right back in again. Drury cruising in on the left-hand side. Offside is the call, but once again, folks, we see Ralston in the thick of it. This guy's a bit of a sniper.
He's got a good shot, a couple of goals in the last game. He brought the Americans right back into things. Coach Tim Taylor has said he knows his power play hasn't been the greatest. He was pleased that it was special teams that got the draw through Todd Marchant late in their game the other night to come back and level the score against the Canadians. But there is room for improvement. A couple of good shots on that last shift from Ralston, though. That's positive.
Beaupré over to Laviolette. Back on the near side. Beaupré streaks in. Rattles that off the boards, and the Americans slow it down and try to set it up. Laviolette to the hash marks. Going in quickly is Ferraro. Ferraro tips it along the boards, and the Americans again with Marchant. Marchant struggles at the blue line. Laviolette goes in and tries to poke it along. He does, but that doesn't work. Excellent stuff from the Swedes. They really are jamming that far side.
Americans might want to keep the puck off the boards. That seems to be where the Swedes are causing the most problems for them.
Laviolette got the pass from Beaupré, and the tip around ends up on the far side. Working in quickly. Ferraro all the way back. Laviolette over to the far side. Got a chance to shoot, and big number 8, Svensson, was there blocking the lane. Laviolette, wrist shot, easy one for Salo, and the Swedes again with 3 seconds on the power play, dump it down the ice.
Salo's being allowed to see the puck, and he's just getting the pads out there and kicking the rebounds out.
Johnson took a swipe at that one. Hансson brings it up, tees it up, big shot. Richards pokes it as far as the hash marks, and the Americans now go on the defensive. Going in quickly is Lube. 21 Richards working hard in the corner. Laviolette goes in now to take out Kjellberg, but they can't control that puck. The Americans under pressure with the Swedes throwing it around. Now it breaks in neutral ice territory. Going back quickly is Ornskog trying to tie up Henriksen. From a sharp angle, the shot from Lazaro was wide of the target. Little tip off the boards, and the Americans with Lilly doubling back. Good forechecking from Lube on Imes. Excellent stuff from Hack and Lube. Ornskog moved in there. 27 Henriksen taps it forward. Lazaro brings it over the blue line. Bouncing puck, and Johansson has problems with that from close in. Lilly is there. Whoa! The referee doesn't know. The Americans say yes. He looked up to see if the red light was on. The goaltender is sprawled all over the red line. Lilly wants it.
Lilly not putting his arms down. He skated about 3/4 of the way around the rink so far to let everybody know that it's over the red line. The ref is going to have to be convinced.
Call to video judge.
The video judge is being called. Now, the last time we saw this, well, the Americans were involved in the game, and they were complaining because they said these guys got a new toy and they want to use it.
That puck is in the net. I'll go out on a limb, Paul. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you are. The puck is over the red line. Take a good look at the replay. Lazaro pushing the puck to Lilly. Good move from Lilly. Backhand to forehand. Directs the puck under Salo. It hits one of his right leg. It's underneath him, and it's over the red line. You could clearly see it from the other view.
Well, this is the first time that they are using the video judges. There's the puck. It's riding along that red line. From that view, it's difficult to see. We should see from this one. The camera in the sky. Lilly right in front. Slides it along under the goalie. It's got to be all the way over. Oh, I know. That is so close.
I want you to take your contact lenses out right now, and I want you to clean them.
Well, they're calling upstairs to the video judges. As we were saying, this is the first time that these video judges have been used. When it was used in the National Football League, I didn't agree with it. It slowed the game down, and they're starting to use it here. I don't agree with it now. I think it's the kind of thing that the referee and the goal judge, there is a goal judge right behind that judge, or behind that goal, and he should be able to see that. But hey, that's progress, I guess.
Guys up in that video room, I mean, it's not easy. They've got to set their hot dogs down. They've got to wipe themselves off. They've got to put the headsets on and have a good look.
The Czech referee, Mr. П.Болина, has left it to the judges to make the decision, and you can see how long it takes.
The judges up there seem to have a couple of good lines for the referees, because every time we've seen a ref on the phone, he's ended up smiling and laughing a few times as well.
Well, he's got his finger on the puck, that's for sure. A great camera up there can tell you what's happening. And I know the Americans complained once before about the use of this camera, but I'm sure they'll like the idea if the goal is given. There is no score in this one up till now, but it looks like Lilly has put the puck over the line. That's just Richard Beaupre's opinion. I'm going to sit on the fence. What's new? The goal has been scored. Lilly gets it.
What do I know?
Lilly gets the congratulations he deserves. 10:38, the time of the goal, and the American fans cheer after a long, long, long wait. Move by Lilly to bring himself out in front of the net and slide it under Salo. Hансson now along the boards, gets it out. Forsberg trying to wrap it in on the short side. Howard takes him out of the play. 18, Bergqvist goes in heavy, and still with Forsberg. Hансson takes the shot, rebound off the back, and the Americans under pressure after that goal. Richter taps it up, back on the attack. Ralston hits the blue line, winds up, Salo makes the save, and that's grabbed and thrown over to Bergqvist, and Bergqvist has problems there with QIWI.
Further credit should go to Jeff Lazaro, who worked hard to get the puck out to Lilly. He gets an assist on the goal from John Lilly.
Richter gets it up, and the Americans punch it back in and go for a change. Junsson waits for the Swedes to complete their line change. Berglund drops it back to Junsson, throws it up to Berglund. The Americans moving in quick, playing the same game as the Swedes as they stop things before they start. Shot took a bounce off his skate, and the Americans now with number 25 Campbell cruising in the slot area, unable to get the shot away. 8 minutes remaining on the period. Big shot coming from Julin. Good save as that's tapped into the corner. Naslund got a piece of it in there, and that's bounced off Naslund's skates, and the Americans now with several players hitting the red line. Laviolette loses control, loses sight, shoots it in. To Бойе, up on the left wing, coming up to Naslund. Naslund feeds it right through Julin. Oh, so pretty indeed. Whoa, quick thinking from him.
What can you say about that goal? Excellent effort from Patrick Julin to put the finishing touches on that puck. Mats Naslund working his way through. This is what the Americans can't allow the Swedes to do. They can't give them the blue line and let them get into the slot. That's where they're the most dangerous. Naslund cruising around. He's going to pick his spot. He does. He lays the pass through. Julin with a lovely back touch by himself to beat Mike Dunham.
Well, you can see why Julin was chosen second by the Flyers in the National Hockey League back in '89. He's still only 23, a great future in front of him. Dunham gloves that one down as it rolls to his doorstep. 1-1 the score here in the first period.
Once again, you can see the American defensemen backing off. The forwards are trying to get back in the play. They aren't going to make it. A little around the back move from Julin has the Swedes on the scoreboard.
12:45 gone on the period. Kjellberg is grabbed by Richter. Kjellberg looking to get it out front. Richter is all over him. The puck comes out and the Americans grab it. Hornsgaard gets a tip, but it can't slow it down. Nice pass up on the left wing, and Roberts broke in there. Beaufait was there too. Brett Howard tries to muscle in. The American defense starting to throw their weight around. Roberts goes in against Johansson. Johansson comes up with the puck, pops it up onto the right wing, and the Swedes with Kjellberg at the red line. Kjellberg gives it to Hornsgaard. Nice little touch there by Brett Howard. Beaufait goes in too. Kjellberg moves up quickly, and the Americans get back in numbers. And Beaufait comes up with a puck and just drops it out of the zone. Svensson to the far side. Lilly goes after him as that goes high, comes out of the lights. Richter picks it up. Slow pass over as both teams complete their changes. Brett Howard's been out there for a long time. Shot by Marchant. Ferraro comes back, and the Americans with Crawley now. He pops it into the corner. The Americans are keeping it in the zone, but they're not hitting the net. Johnson loses out, and here come the Swedes coming up quickly. Working on the right side is Bergqvist. Bergqvist tries to go in, can't get by Laviolette. Junsson, Rudmark, and Bergqvist. Laviolette kicks it away. Ferraro now picks it up, gets it by Junsson, and that's tipped into the neutral zone. Stillman will circle and wait. Stillman drops it back. Junsson is there. Forsberg with a burst of speed. Forsberg, good drop pass. Another drop pass comes back. Junsson feeds it right through. Forsberg was in front, so was Bergqvist. Hines tries to freeze it against the woodwork. Imes being spun around, can't control it. Bergqvist still muscles. Imes is in there. Some good stuff, some good hard stuff from both teams. Imes keeps on Bergqvist. Still no one wanting to give an inch all the way back. Juhансson got it there. Svensson takes a swipe at it. Some good stuff as QIWI goes in. Rolston, big hit. Oh, massive hit.
And a very clean hit. The referee right on the play. He could see shoulder to shoulder on that check.
Thrown up nicely by Juhансson. Bergqvist loses that at the blue, and he has to go deep back to his own blue line. A chance now as Hансson goes in. Lost control of that puck. Drury, no one taking the man for the Americans on the far side of the rink as Hансson almost broke away with that. Svensson drops it back. Lazaro forechecking it. A little push pass, and the Swedes throwing the puck around now. Howard goes in heavily. Howard picks up the puck, bangs it off the backboards. Campbell skates to the far side. The shot. Score! Whoa, that started way back at the blue. We'll have to look to see who got the final touch. That looked like it changed direction.
It does appear that Charles Berglund got a stick on the puck. We'll have to wait and see. It went through about 6 players to get to Mike Dunham. The Swedes applying a lot of pressure. You said it all in a nutshell earlier, Paul. The Americans have been guilty the last minute or two of not finishing off their checks. They're allowing the Swedes to skate away from the puck and get back into the play. Berglund in front of the net. Uhlin is there. Both players right on top of it. Uhlin with his 4th goal at 16:05 of the period.
2-1 the score. The Swedes have taken a lead with less than 4 minutes to go on the period. Stillman drives it all the way down into Dunham's zone, and Lube brings it to the red line. All the way back. And the Swedes right now are out skating the Americans. Crowley, Martin along the boards, and as you said and I said, both the Americans, when they had them along the boards, were not finishing off the checks. The Swedes were allowed to move out and get rid of the puck.
It's also critical at this point in the period. There's a lot of snow on the ice. You can see it. The puck is starting to take crazy bounces, and you just can't be sure of the puck, so you've got to make sure you've got a body.
Lube is there with Kjellberg. Lube allowed to move. Ornskog takes the shot. That goes into the corner. Well, the Swedes started slowly in this competition and appear to be building nicely for the Final Four. The Final 3 coming up now. Long shot by Lilly. That bounces off the backboards, and the Swedes bring it up slowly. Lube punches it out into the middle. Stillman tees it up. His shot hits a leg. Kjellberg takes it out of the zone. Kjellberg being watched by Marchant. Juhансson on the near side off the boards. Pumps it up. And the Americans are playing defensive hockey out there. Marchant gives it to Juhансson. Juhансson in his own circle on the right. Eriksson, Rudmark, all the way back. And again, it's just a little passing game out there for the Swedes. Imes finally gets involved and bats it down. But the whistle finally blows. And it took a long time for the Americans to touch the puck.
The Americans are finding themselves chasing all over the ice right now. Even though the puck seems to be bouncing a lot, there's another look at Uhlin's tip. It's a beauty right into the corner, low. Dunham is beaten. Not a great chance for Dunham as the puck clearly changed directions off the stick of Patrick Uhlin. We're saying the Americans seem to be chasing, even with the puck bouncing. The Swedes, to their credit, are really starting to get their passing game together. A lot of give and goes, and they seem to be finding the open man all the time.
2 minutes, 13 seconds remaining on the first period. Howard goes deep for the USA. Pass up onto the wing. The intended receiver up in the middle was Lazaro. That didn't work, so the Americans will start it up again. Richter being shadowed by Forsberg. Howard off the boards into neutral ice territory. Campbell is there, but he's not going to get to it. And the Swedes again drop it back. Forsberg slowly up on the left wing. Forsberg taps it up onto the right wing. A chance now for Hансson. Hансson not taken out of the play. Big shot comes in, wide of the target. Dunham gets a piece of that and bats it out. Lazaro gives it another little tap, and the Americans now come down only as far as the blue line. Campbell taken off the plate. Lazaro comes off best in that confrontation. Shot. Dunham went down, bouncing on the near side, and the Americans pick it up. Time running out on the period. Long pass. Campbell swipes it into Swedish territory. The final minute of play in this period coming up now. A little tip up on the right side. Julin can't get to it. Icing will be the call. Face-off deep in Swedish territory with 58 seconds remaining. QIWI looking to get it back. Ralston moving in quickly. And Leyf Rolin says, surely Ralston can't stay in the corner. Gets set for this face-off again. That comes back to Crawley. One-timer, big save again by Salo. QIWI tries to get it out front. That doesn't work, and the Swedes now coming up quickly. Julin rather, over to Berglund. Berglund is dumped as he went down the wing, goes after Crawley. Crawley gets a little touch. Ralston taps it up. The Americans don't know they have it. Now it's pushed up on the wing. QIWI going up against 7. Rolin over to the far side. Drury all the way back, bouncing it off the boards. Drury is there. Ralston behind the net. Ralston tries to put it through the back of the net. Drury peppered that, and Ralston was unable to slow it down. Hendrickson pops it right into the corner again. Drury brings it out. He's got room to move. Can he get the shot away? 9 seconds on the clock. Laviolette spins around with just a couple of seconds, and there goes the buzzer to end the first period. Lilly got things off to a good start for the Americans, but Julin had his say on 2 separate occasions.
Good close first period. Both teams going up and down the ice at a good pace. The Americans closing off the final minute or minute and a half with some good offensive ability there, maybe getting ready for the second period.
To second period action here at Hacken Hall. The Swedes leading the Americans 2-1 after 20 minutes of hockey. And the Americans know that their final game is against the Italians. The Italians won today, so they've got 2 points. And the Americans desperately need something today to ensure their place in the final.
That's right, the Italians with a good performance against the French earlier.
Wraparound right in front, and Johnson almost poked it in the back of the net.
The Americans now realizing that they have 3 points from 3 games. They've got to come up with something against the Swedes.
Of course, it'll all be down to that last game against the Italians. Along the boards, the Americans trying to muscle in and get something going. It bounces all the way down the ice, and Dunham lets it ride. Icing is the call.
American players on and off the ice, all yelling, let it go, let it go. Dunham not touching the puck. A very late call being made by the referee. Boye going to the box for holding. The Americans will have the power play. Shots on goal after 20 minutes of play favored the Swedes, 13-10.
There's the infraction. 43 seconds is the time of the penalty, and the American power play is 3 for 23 in this competition. Ralston picks himself up slowly. "20-year-old Ralston goes into the face-off circle. QIWI goes on to the wing, and that's flipped out over the blue, down over the red, and all the way down the ice. Roberts for the USA starts it up. The Americans on the power play. Boye in the box. Long pass up on the wing. Americans now setting up. Johnson dropping it back. Roberts trying to feed it through. It bounces onto the red line, and big opening. And the Americans will go back again. Roberts. Pass up onto the right wing. Ralston slams on the brakes, pushes it in. Going in quickly around to the far side. No one there to pick it up, and Roberts picks it up at his own blue line. This power play so far is not working for the Americans. Now they stop and they try to settle it up. Again, it's shot right down the ice, and the Americans are struggling. 1:03 on the power play. Coming back on the attack. Roberts hits the blue. Roberts all on his own. Ornskov gets it. And there doesn't seem to be any plan of attack out there for the Americans. Ralston gets back and throws it up on the wing. 45 seconds now on the power play. Some sloppy play from the Americans here as they throw the puck around in neutral ice territory with no Swedes around and have problem connecting with the passes. Beaufait, Ferraro, Beaufait, this is better. Beaufait circles in the corner, drops it back. Ferraro is there. He's got Johnson cruising. Long shot, big save on Richter. All the way back, Beaufait off the boards. Cleared but not out at the second attempt. It comes out, and Ferraro was there with 12 seconds on the power play. Pass up into neutral ice territory. Breaking forward is Marchand. Going against Rolin. Marchand taps it along the boards, and the Americans are in there in a hurry, but Lube gets to it first and shoots it down the ice. The Swedes are back at full strength, and not the best power play we've ever seen from an American national team.
The Americans did try and get some passing going. They telegraphed the passes. The Swedes were right on top of them. Stillman cutting off passes quite easily a couple times.
Rudmark has got Johansson. Shot stopped by Dunham, and the rebound came out, but there was no one there with a yellow jersey to pick it up. In the corner, some good stuff coming from Junsson. Junsson chases to the far side, bounced away by Craig Johnson, and the Americans make another quick change. A long pass up by Rudmark, intercepted. Two-liner hits Henriksen, and the face-off will go back where that pass originated.
Kurt Lundmark, the guy with the big job behind the Swedish bench. He's got all kinds of talent and great youth. He was Connie Evanson's assistant coach in the 91 and 92 World Championship games.
Face-off just inside the blue with Forsberg trying to tip it back. Crowley puts it on to the left side, and the American Laviolette gets it up in neutral ice territory. Offside the call again with Lazaro and Hendrickson going over the blue. The Americans have not been given the opportunity to get their passes together out there. Another change of lines by Tim Taylor. Face-off just outside the Swedish blue line. Dubois passes it over. A return pass to Dubois. Being shadowed there by Campbell. Long pass goes all the way down to Dunham's doorstep. Crawley quickly gets that around along the boards. Dubois keeps it in. Hansson in the corner. Hansson with Luke right out front. That goes back. Big shot comes in. Dunham goes down. Forsberg was there. Hansson gives Forsberg the puck now. A chance to move right out front. No one took him. Another shot comes in. The net is off its moorings. And Sacco may be guilty of knocking that net off its moorings.
That was probably a good move by David Sacco. He was hurt on the shot that came in toward the net earlier. Forsberg was allowed to just walk right out of the corner to the front of the goal as Sacco just really couldn't get to him. There's no question about it. Sacco just, you can see him limping now, barely getting off the ice. He's got the penalty for deliberately pushing the net off its moorings in an attempt to take the pressure off the Americans. Big shot from the blue. There it is, hitting Sacco in the leg.
Now watch Forsberg come out of the corner. No one went to get him, and eventually the net goes off. Sacco was hurt.
breakdown of communication. Sacco forced to stay back. He was the guy, as I said before, that was hit by the shot. He's trying to still cover up for the defense, and he just limped over toward Forsberg. It was a great save by Dunham as Forsberg came out untouched. Then Sacco pushed the net off. He's still injured and sitting on the bench. Ferraro is in the box to serve his penalty.
Face-off in the U.S. zone. That's dropped back. Naslund can't get a stick to it. The Americans on the defensive here. Man in the penalty box. Svensson back on the blue. All the way up to the top of the slot. Big shot comes in. Berglund tried to get a stick to it as it came off the backboards, and Svensson goes deep.
Swedish forwards having a go at the referee as they were skating back. Ullin in front of the goal just took a heck of a chop from goaltender Mike Dunham. You could hear it all over the rink.
Thrown up on the far side, and the Americans are struggling here in the second period. They've been outplayed, outshot. Svensson taps it in. Naslund wants it. Taken away by Ullin in the corner. Imes is all over here. From close in, the shot comes. Oh, back to Svensson, looking for Naslund. Naslund playing a little cat and mouse as Svensson gets it back to Naslund. Naslund back behind the boards. 1 minute now on the power play. Johansson is there. Lilly goes after him. Ullin, who's had such a fine game, right at the top. Johansson all the way back, top of the slot, shot. Dunham makes a save. Berglund let it ride. Dunham comes up big. Hauer starts to mix it up.
Hauer looking directly down at Mats Naslund. The two of them coming together as Dunham covered the puck up.
The Swedes buzzing all around that USA goal here on the power play. Sacco still smarting from that blow to his ankle. And Ferraro sitting in the penalty box. .5:31 gone on the second period. Still 2-1 the score. And the face-off with the Americans left with 48 seconds on the power play is outside the blue. Salo couldn't reach it. Lazaro, or Roberts rather, went in quickly, and a chance now for Lube. Lube slams on the brakes. The Americans get that and just flip it away. Stillman. Ornskog. Dunham takes a swipe at it. Right out front, the backhander. Kjellberg is there. Kjellberg gets hit hard. Crawley flattened him, and the American fans love that. Stillman taps it in. Lube. 1 second on the power play, and the Americans are back at full strength. Lube comes in. Lube right in front. Big shot. Dunham goes down. Kjellberg is there, and Dunham hangs on.
Mike Dunham doing an outstanding job to keep control of the puck. Patrick Kjellberg, big number 27, right in front of Dunham. Big shot coming from Stillman. There's the puck. Richards doing all he can do to try and keep Kjellberg away from Mike Dunham's goal.
Berglund gets set to put his stick on the ice. Berglund unable to get it back, but the Swedes break right through. Berglund chops it along the boards, back to the blue. Stillman muscles and gets it up. Naslund on the wing. Naslund has got Berglund. He's got Stillman. A long rink-wide pass. A little backhander, and the Americans pick that up and find an opening. Americans are doing well on these penalties. But they're never going to win a game playing short-handed, that's for sure.
Well, they're short-handed. They are quick enough to force, and that's exactly what they're going to have to do. The forwards are just going to have to keep pressing and stay in control, though, but widening the box out, forcing the Swedes to stay outside.
Ullin gets around Howard. That comes to the side of the net in the circle. Lazaro and Martin are out front. A lot of nice passes from the Swedes from close in, the shot. Whoa, that's in the back of the net. Power play goal. Number 3 for the Swedes. Just a matter of time. The pressure has been relentless since the opening face-off of this period.
The pressure is only going to get worse when you're short-handed. The Swedes setting it up. The puck is outside. They've got to get back in there. It's Martin who has committed himself to the boards. Now, as the play comes to the net, Julin has it by the side of the goal. It's a 2-on-1 as Berglund has done a very good job of making sure that the other defenseman can't cover up. Julin with a hat trick. The Swedes on top, 3-1.
Great stuff from Julin and the rest of the Swedes. They're playing some excellent hockey. The Americans really haven't got going in this period. They were allowed to penetrate in the early stages of the first period that paid off with that goal by Lilly. But since then, it really has been one-way traffic.
Martin going out to force. He's a defenseman. Todd Marchant, the forward, trying to get back to help out and close the box down. He doesn't get back quick enough. It's a 2-on-1 down low. Julin blasts the puck behind Mike Dunham.
Loose puck in the corner. Rudmark wrestles with Chiavaglia. Rudmark trying to pin that against the boards. Chiavaglia stays on him. Eventually the puck comes away, and the Americans come up with it. Breaking quickly on the left side now. A chance for Johnson. Johnson, long shot, easy save for Salo. All the way out to the blue, pumped right back into the hash marks. The Americans working behind the net. Drury tries to get it back. That bobbles off his stick. Junsson goes after him. Chiavaglia is there. Rolston now moves in. Rolston with Johnson and Chiavaglia. Drury behind the net, and Drury runs into Salo. And the Swedes kick it out, push it out, and get it out of the line. Chiavaglia brings his man down. And a chance now. Another shot coming in quickly. Dunham got the save on Junsson. Big quick release on the forehand. Laviolette, the far side of the rink. Dubois bats that down. That tips high over the boards, and both teams will complete their changes.
Players coming together between the benches. Rolston just taking a little shot from behind late after the whistle was blown. A couple players having words. Dunham getting a quick drink of water. He's had a lot of heat coming at him in this period.
Well, the Swedes would dearly love to finish on top in this division. They would then play the fourth place team in the A group. The top team plays the fourth, the second place plays the third, and they switch over on the other side as well. The Americans, Ferraro, long shot, save, Ferraro comes in. Johansson is all over him. Ferraro tips it in the corner. Kjellberg couldn't handle that, and it's tipped away. Ferraro can't get to it. A bouncing puck on the wing for Johnson. Johnson and Marchant still along the boards. Johnson is there. Pops it back into the corner. Ferraro can't control it. And the Swedes eventually can only get it as far as the blue. The hash marks. Crowley taps it in. Clearance to the far side of the rink. Roger Hansen is there, but he's beaten to the puck by Hauer. 5 minutes now remaining. A break now for Hansen. Hansen goes in, goes for the short side. There was no way he was going to score from that angle. Kept in by Rolin. Right out front, a one-timer. Some good stuff as Svensson moved in quickly. Stillman, big shot, save. Hansen scores! Impossible angle. How did he get that in?
Dunham out of his goal, screaming that he was interfered with, or that the Swede was a little close to the crease. The Swedes celebrate. Once again, we're seeing a passing clinic being put on by the Swedish team. They are just being very patient and moving the puck around this ice surface very nicely. Shot from the point. Hansen goes over. Out of nowhere, gets it past number 4 Imes and goaltender Mike Dunham. The initial save is a good one by Dunham. Richards trying to squeeze his man out of the play. Hансson has the puck and the goal.
(15:21) the time of the goal. Hансson from an impossible angle makes it 4-1 for the Swedes. Berglund up against Beaufait. Stillman all the way back up to the blue, and the Swedes seem to have a run of the ice out there. They seem to be able to pass wherever they want, whenever they want. Coming from the corner now, the Swedes really applying a lot of pressure, looking like a class act out there. Martin intercepts. Martin working with Imes on the D. That's tapped away. Naslund takes a hit on the boards from Martin. And the puck for a moment frozen along the boards. Matthew Martin rather, gets it up. Berglund goes after his man. And that's dropped all the way back onto the Swedish defense. Stillman still out there. Stillman working down on the left side. Imes gets a piece of him, and the Americans come up quickly. Roberts a little tip up. Beaufait. Deflection all the way down into Swedish territory. And the Americans squandering a lot of chances. Delayed penalty on the play.
Once again, you can hear the slash all the way up in the commentary booth. The Americans are going to be penalized.
It took a long time for the goaltender to come out, but he's out of there now. An extra attacker on. As soon as the Americans touch the puck, of course, the whistle will blow. Lube circles, gets it into the circle. Shot, Dunham is there. Junsson taps it into the corner. Still a delayed penalty on the play. Hack and Lube. And the Americans finally touch it. The whistle finally blows. Slashing is the call.
The Americans in their offensive zone taking a slashing penalty like that is another one that Tim Taylor will be taking notes on. They're down 4-1, and now they go back to the penalty box. John Lilly for slashing at 16:51. Swedes being patient, throwing the puck back. There's the chop.
Face-off deep in American territory, 5 for 21 on the power play, 89.5%. Killing off penalties for the Americans. Sacco seems to be a lot better since he took that knock on the skate. That bounces away, and the Americans now push the Swedes down with Svensson throwing it up. Lube pushing it across the rink. Coming up big on the far side, Johansson. Johansson against Laviolette. Pushed into the near corner. The Swedes going to set it up now. Svensson calling for it. Kjellberg wants it and gets it. Kjellberg from a sharp angle. Lube tries to get it back. That doesn't work, and the Americans get it out. Lazaro getting the final touch there for the USA. Lube drops it back. 1:27 now on the power play. Lazaro takes a big chop at Salo, the goaltender. No love lost out there between these two teams. And the Americans with Sacco working up there and Drury unable to get anything going. Hendrickson shoots that down the ice. Salo was back there all alone. He's waiting for a little support, pumps it up on the wing, and Kjellberg shakes off a trek from Darby Hendrickson. Drop pass, and the Americans now going back on the D as Forsberg comes forward. Junsson with Forsberg. Forsberg playing in the corner, waits for support. The Swedes set it up. Bergqvist decides to go back. Junsson, Bergqvist. Forsberg is behind the net. Junsson, big shot comes in, hits the post. So close. Dubois going back. He let that shot go, and that was going close to 100 miles an hour. That was a rocket.
He cranked that one, Paul. You could hear the pipe all over the rink. Everybody on their feet as soon as that shot hit the post.
Johnson, Dubois gets away from Marchant. Marchant comes right back in with a hook. The Americans are back to full strength. Coming up quickly on the wing. The Americans get in there, break it up. 1 minute now remaining on the period. 4-1 the score. The Swedes are leading this one. A chance perhaps now for the Americans to come back into this one. Going in hard is Johnson. The Swedes come up with a puck and just lob it out of the zone. And we'll have another face-off on the play. Well, it certainly has been an impressive period for the Swedes, but the Americans have been outplayed, out-hustled, outshot, outscored.
What you're saying, in other words, is that Sweden has dominated.
Yeah, I'm trying to get around to that. Let's watch this big shot. Crank right off the post.
That hit that post hard enough that you would hope that that's going to be enough for a wake-up call for the Americans. The alarm going off there sounded like a cowbell. They've got 20 minutes, just over 20 minutes to get their act together.
Ferraro flips that into Swedish territory. Stillman bangs it off the boards and it comes all the way out. As you say, the Americans need something to wake them up. I thought a 4-1 scoreline would be enough. 28 seconds on the clock. Ferraro working with Johnson. Johnson doubles back into his own zone. Good move by Johnson to get away from one man. Johnson moves up, takes the shot. Oh, that was close. That was a lot better from the Americans. Naslund takes it in the corner. 5 seconds on the clock. Johnson taps it out. 1 second. There goes the buzzer to end the second period. Julin got his hat trick, and Hансson came up with one from an impossible angle. After 40 minutes of hockey, it's 4-1. The Swedes leading the Americans.
The Americans showing their frustration. They're being beaten on the ice, and now things are continuing. As the buzzer has gone, the referee's whistle blowing a couple of extra times to get the players to cool it. 20 minutes to play.
It's 20 minutes, but can the Americans come back, or will the Swedes extend their lead? Stay with us. We have more ice hockey from Norway coming up in a moment. Welcome back to the third and final period. The Americans play from right to left, and right at the end of the second period, they got a penalty, and so they're under pressure yet again.
Right between the benches, as we said there at the close of the period, players coming together. Ferrero going to the box for elbowing.
Right at the 20-minute mark, and so the Americans, with their backs to the wall, well, it's the 20-minute mark of the period, but the 40-minute mark of the game, and the Swedes really have looked impressive. They throw the puck around with ease. Before the game started, they came out onto the ice and they were smiling, they were having a good laugh, and they're enjoying their hockey. That's important. And right now they're looking like medal contenders. Forsberg sets it up on the far side. Hakanlub was the intended receiver. Laviolette gets the puck back to Ferraro. Ferraro along the boards. Good pass up. A chance for Henriksen. He's got a breakaway. Going in on goal. Shoots. Good save by Salo. And that's tipped high with 55 seconds remaining on the penalty.
Darby Henriksen, another American with great wheels. These guys can really skate, but the finishing touches are far and few. They're really having a hard time putting the puck in the goal.
There's a big slash. Dubois getting the lumber right across the back of Henriksen, goes to the box. Anything to try to slow these guys down, but Salo did the big job out there of preventing the puck from going in the net, even though Dubois was chopping lumber. Face off at the top of the circle, so the teams are level right now. Back behind the Swedish goal, Johansson tips it over. Johansson leaves it there for Naslund. Naslund breaks up center, still with Naslund. Pass up onto the left wing. Johansson flips it in, and that goes into the near corner. The Americans now with a chance to bring it out, and they do. Up on the right side, flipped all the way back to Richter. Richter to the far side of the rink. Howard slows it down. He's forced into his own zone. And the Americans need something, and they need something quickly. Brett Howard now with a burst of speed. Howard takes a shot right on the blocker. Salo staying square to the shooter. Henriksen got it out front. Lilly took the first shot. Pushed away. Johansson hangs on to him. And Svensson loves it down. And the Americans now are back to full strength. 1:04 remaining on the power play. Svensson going deep. Taps it in behind the goal. Ferraro was there to pick it up. Ferraro feeds it up onto the wing. Drury. Salo, good clearance from the goaltender, and the Swedish fans really love that.
Salo has done an outstanding job in all aspects of goaltending, clearing the puck, holding on to it, knowing when to keep it going.
Ornskog almost got in the way of that and broke free. The Americans have to get quickly back into play as Ornskog chases up. Lube goes in to run a little interference. That gets in the official skate. Roberts goes after Lube, but Lube comes up with a puck. The pass right up the middle, and Dunham comes out to bat it away. Nothing happening on this power play for the Americans. A long clearance in, Laviolette with 6 seconds on the power play. Roberts trying to get it across. That deflected off a Swede, and that was without a doubt one of the worst power plays I've ever seen the Americans take part in. A long break up the middle. Henriksen trying to break through, and Bergqvist feeds it up on the wing. Junsson couldn't take a poke at that. Another pass up the middle, a chance now for the Americans coming in. Oh, that was much better. Ferraro got a great pass up after the power play had expired.
A nice goal for the Americans. Possibly they've hurt us. They've got great skaters. They can get in the opening, but they have had trouble scoring this time. Ferraro puts the puck in the net for the U.S. A couple of good passes setting Ferraro free. He goes in, goes forehand to backhand. He doesn't actually get the backhander on it. Salo has committed himself as Ferraro goes to shift it on the backhand. He more or less loses the puck, but it works to his advantage.
That's Ferraro's second goal of the competition. 3:25 is the time of the goal. Boye pops that to the far side, and the Swedes now come up. Whistle on the play as Forsberg was breaking. For many people, Forsberg is the best player in the world outside the National Hockey League. Take a look at this again with Ferraro breaking. As you said, folks, he really didn't get the shot away, but the goaltender had committed himself. He was falling backwards, and it just slid right underneath him.
Americans play with a lot of enthusiasm, and hockey is a game of momentum. You never know what they're going to do now. They could explode.
The Swedes certainly dominated the second period, but what will the Americans do, as you say, now that they've scored a goal here in the third? 4-2 is the score. Boye is muscled off the play. Lilly shadows out front, and the Swedes bring it up slowly. A long clearance up to Hansson. Hansson can't control it. And the Americans now with 1, 2, 3 players along the boards lose out. Forsberg. Long pass to the far side. The Americans chasing out there as the Swedes throw the puck around. Bergqvist lets the shot go. That comes over to the far side. Bergqvist now gets the pass. Taps it off the boards. Beaufait has it. Beaufait, good pass up the middle. Roberts throws it up on the right side. Lilly is there, and Lilly follows through on a check. Beaufait keeps it in. Lilly now gets it right across, and a little too high for anyone to get a stick on it. But the idea seems to be right. The Americans are stringing the passes together. Back on the wing is Julien. Hansson against Hauer. Americans slow it down for a moment. Up on the left wing, Ferraro drops it back. Return pass Ferraro, all the way back again. 5 minutes gone. Good pass up on the wing. Roberts drops it back. Shot from a sharp angle. Roberts tries to get it out front, and he does. Sacco let it go. And that goes all the way down the ice, and we're seeing some better hockey from the Americans. Tim Taylor must have had words with these boys, that's for sure.
A couple of positive things on the breakout. Beaufait coming back to help relieve the pressure off the defense, and Lazaro taking the hit along the boards, allowing the Americans to escape their own zone.
Excellent atmosphere, as you can see and hear. QIWI anxiously awaits this face-off, and the officials concerned that too many people had crept into the circle.
QIWI on the draw, a name that sounds like he should be on the Italian team. The American-born QIWI plays his hockey in Sweden, in Leksand, so he knows a lot of these Swedish players on a regular basis.
A chance now, Drury going in, backhand right in front, the shot comes, QIWI is there. Salo goes down, still not out of the way. Drury flips around and tries to get the shot away. QIWI looking to get it out front from close in. Rolston, shot scores! Rolston! Great stuff from the Americans. We said the goal might motivate him. It certainly has. That goal being by Ferrero earlier. They have come to life. And this smooth, calm, cool, and collected Swedish team are really under pressure now. Good work by QIWI and Rolston down low. QIWI with the first shot, a great save made by Salo. Rolston continues to work. He's got the puck, drops it low. QIWI is there again. It comes in front. Drury doing some work. Rolston on the spin around, beats Salo. The Americans are only down by a goal now. 5:29, the time of the goal. That's the fourth goal in the competition for Rolston. He certainly is the sniper for the Americans. The shot goes off of Dunham's glove as Hakanlub was moving in quickly, and the Americans bounce it off a camera. It will have a face-off here, but the Americans really have caught fire with two quick goals. It's certainly a different team out there than we saw in the second period. The Americans moving in, closing them down, everyone fighting for the puck.
Laviolette had moved up from his defensive spot as well. The Americans seem to be on fire right now.
Hornskog loses out at the face-off, and here comes Johnson. Goes for the rink-wide pass, and the Americans coming in with Ferrero. Johnson set him up on the far side, but it didn't work. Johnson goes back on the defensive position. Lube taps it in, Hornskog and Kjellberg. Richards ties up Kjellberg, and the Americans flip it high. That's glove down. Some good stuff from the Americans as they start to go up. Ferrero goes over the line. Ferrero gets back onside, and that's dropped all the way back to the D. Laviolette taps it forward. Laviolette breaking now with Lilly. Lilly looking for Marchand. A chance that goes, and Laviolette was standing right there. Roberts moves in. The shot comes in, and Salo hangs on. So many opportunities there, and the puck just not bouncing the right way for the Americans.
Close call again. Kurt Lundmark looking on from behind the Swedish bench. He's going to have a few words with the boys coming off the ice. Roberts and Laviolette both picking their spots on their defensive position and going forward, making it even harder for the Swedes to clear the front of their goal.
4-3 the scoreline. The Swedes are hanging on to that one-goal lead, but the Americans certainly have come back into this one. Big face-off in Swedish territory. 6:35 gone on the third period. Beaufait for the Americans. Gets set. That's dropped back, and Junsson for Sweden picks it up. Junsson throws it behind his own goal, and that's flipped high, and that's something you didn't see the Swedes do in the first two periods. Just flipping it out of the zone. Some good pressure as that comes back behind the net. Bergqvist and Eriksson providing the forechecking. Howard doubles back. Eriksson moves in quickly. A long pass will go the distance. Icing is the call.
Swedes obviously being told to change their tactics a little. As you said, Paul, they haven't been forced to dump the puck very much in this game. That last shift, they dumped it, and Bergqvist went in hard, and he had support right behind him. The Swedes trying to get the forechecking going again.
In the American zone, Sako tries to get it back. The Swedes unable to keep it in. They golf it in, but they have to get out of the zone to avoid the offside. Sako goes back, picks it up. A new determined look on the American faces out there as Johansson goes in. Henriksen peppers him against the plexi along the hash marks. That squirts down the blue line as Crowley picks it up and fires it forward. Long pass. The Americans stringing them together now. Henriksen right through the middle. Some good stuff by Hansson as he got back to intercept.
Lazaro sneaking around on the outside. Henriksen's pass nearly getting through to him.
Lazaro, Johansson, big shot right on the doorstep. Lazaro overskates, good save by Dunham. Some excellent stuff as Bergqvist let it go from close in. Svensson ties his man up. Drury in the corner. Hansson is there, still with Drury. Forsberg is on him. Svensson is there. 3 Swedes, 4 Swedes on that side of the rink. The Americans continue to throw the puck around. Rolston picks it up. Rolston is hooked from behind by Forsberg, and the Americans keep it in from the blue line. Laviolette peppers it back. Drury, the shot, wide of the target. Rolston on the far side. Backhands it only as far as Hansson. That's tipped away, and Bergqvist now has a break. Laviolette goes against Bergqvist and drags him down. Rolston will pick it up. The Swedes wanted a penalty on the play, but that didn't work. Laviolette is stopped. And Dunham pokes it out through the circle. A pass up on the wing, and Chiavaglia couldn't get it. 9 minutes now gone on the period. Junsson peppers that to the right side. Another big hit in neutralized territory.
A very high hit as well. The Americans are going to the penalty box. Well, you could hear the plexiglass rattle on that one. Laviolette going in very high. Watch Mats Naslund take this shot.
Naslund could see that coming, that's for sure. He was ready.
Well, he didn't play 8 years of hockey in the Montreal Canadian organization and not get hit a few times.
Laviolette sits for 2, and the Americans, with the face-off deep in their territory, get the draw as Howard picks it up and the whistle blows.
Craig Johnson coming into the face-off circle a bit too early. The referee blowing it down. They'll have to do it again.
Umin, the sniper, is out there. He's got a hat trick already in this game. Berglund looking for Naslund. Naslund gets it back. Johansson gets it to Naslund. Naslund with a lot of time on the wing. Berglund, Johansson lets a shot go, and Berglund is right there. Richter eventually comes in a little late to take him out of the play.
Barry Richter right on top of Berglund to make sure that he doesn't touch the puck or Mike Dunham. Patrick Uline on the ice. He's the guy, as you said, Paul, with a hat trick in this game. Uline away from the puck, and Mats Naslund with the puck that the Americans have got to worry about.
Beaufait now getting set for this face-off. Berglund goes in for the Swedes. .146 on the power play, and the Americans stay in the face-off circle as Naslund now goes in. That's dropped back. Christopher Imes along the boards. Goes back. Johansson tees it up. Big shot. Back of the net. Power play goal.
That could be crucial. The Swedes back on top by 2. A very crucial power play goal. It's the best helmet I've seen in the Olympic Games, Paul. You see that guy in the crowd with the flashing lights. The shot is taken. Dunham down on his knees. The puck is over him. Big blast coming from Johansson.
Will that take the sting out of the Americans' attack? We'll see. The penalties certainly haven't helped the American approach out there. Laviolette in the box for a hard hit. And right away, Johansson counters with a goal.
The Americans have come back 3 times in 3 games. But this isn't any average team they're trying to make a comeback on now. As soon as it seems that everything is going right for the Americans, the Swedes are just so capable of turning it around for themselves. That appeared to go under the arm of Dunham as he went down on his knees.
A blast of a shot by Roger Johansson from way back at the blue.
Swedes have never been short of players that can get that blast off from the blue line. We've mentioned Kenneth Tenholt a few times. We used to see a lot of action going at goaltenders when that guy had let him go.
Ornskog. Gets set for the face-off, and the officials in this one are taking a long time to line these guys up. They thought they would worry too much about a face-off in neutralized territory. That comes over nicely for Martin. Imes and Martin working on the boards. Beaufay gets a tip. Chance Roberts is brought down by Ornskog, and that's going to cost the Swedes a couple. This guy doesn't miss a trick out there.
Well, you live and die by the sword. If you're going to call it tight, you call it tight both ways. That's exactly what the referee is doing in this game. He's keeping it under control, and he certainly is unbiased. Hook is a hook, and he's got the Swedes this time.
Well, we've got 10 minutes of hockey out there. A power play right now for the Americans. They trail by 2. What are they going to do? Chiavaglia steps in. We've got that man Ralston out there too for the Americans. Can they come back yet another time? Roberts. Right in front, and Drury just couldn't get a handle on it. Ralston back to the blue, and that bobbles. Jonsson, Rudmark on the far side as the Swedes play with it and kill off this penalty. Bounced off the boards, and Sacco goes deep. 1:30 on the power play. Sacco, little tip on the right wing. They need to get it down, they need to get it set up. Ralston breaks in high slot, flips it over onto the wing, pumped into the corner, and the Americans now have a chance to set it up. Jonsson goes in hard on Chiavaglia. The Americans being pushed, shoved, bumped, but somehow they hang on to the puck. Sacco with nowhere to go. The shot, fan, another shot, because they score! Ralston again! Whoa, that bounced very, very kindly indeed right onto his stick, and he made the most of it.
Where have you seen that before? That is almost the same exact place on the ice and the same exact shot that Todd Marchant took to level against the Canadians in their last game. The Americans are right back in it with a power play goal of their own. The puck moved around nicely. The shot is fanned down by Roberts, but it goes right on the stick of Ralston, and he makes no mistake.
.5-4 the score now. The Americans are right back in it.
Dave Roberts is going to get back to the bench and ask Ralston if he liked that pass. He's going to let him know that was one of the nicest fakes he's ever put on in his life.
Marchant ties up Hansson, and the Americans now breaking up. Johnson lets the shot go. Face-off just outside the Swedish blue line. 11:02 gone on the period. Still a lot of time left in this hockey game. Johansson puts it up to the far side. Ferraro steals it off the Swedish stick. And the Americans are hustling now, getting back in with Johansson coming back for the Swedes. A little tip up, Bergqvist to Johansson. Johansson hits the blue, the sticks go up, and Dunham comes out. Ferraro. Howard with a burst of speed, can't get away from Hansson, right in front. Oh, so close. Hansson moves in quickly now with Forsberg. Both of them against the boards, and two Swedes are caught deep. Marchant. Johnson waiting for his teammates to get offside. He decided to go wide, a big chop on Johnson, and that bounced off his stick as the Swedes go for a change. Forsberg shoots it in. Crowley lands on the first pass and goes up on the right side. Crowley to get away from Yulin. Laviolette, big shot right on the pads. That comes out, still not out of the zone. Roberts behind the goal, and the Americans move in quickly. Laviolette, big chop there by Rolin, and the Swedes now look to be floundering in their own zone. A bouncing puck. Roberts tries to get away from Berglund. Berglund looks, gets it out, and all the way out into neutral ice territory.
The Americans really applying good forechecking pressure on the Swedes now.
Beaufait was hit as he moved towards that puck, and the Swedes bring it out of their own zone. Rolin, a long clearance in. Martin goes after it, and the Americans with a lot more room to get out of their zone. A little tip through. That goes all the way down the ice. Junsson is there, had problems with Salo. A shot from a sharp angle hits a skate, and Martin had the right idea in there. Berglund goes for a switch as Lazaro moves in to forecheck, and the Swedes are under pressure. Suddenly the Swedes look pretty average out there as the Americans pick up their game. Hackenlube throws it onto an open wing, and here comes Sweden. Imes goes after his man. Martin is still out there. Good stuff on Dubois, taken out of the play heavily along the boards. A chance as Ornskog moved in. Kjellberg. Ornskog, wrist shot. Kjellberg standing right there.
Now we see the Swedes turn it up a notch. Kjellberg and Ornskog doing some damage. Dunham holding on to the puck, not allowing Patrick Kjellberg to have another shot. Kjellberg just inside the blue. Pass is there. That shot coming from Hansson earlier. A great chance for the Swedes.
From the face-off, that bobbles in the circle, and Junsson unable to get the shot away. Richter with Ralston. Every time Ralston gets on the ice, there seems to be a certain amount of excitement in the crowd. Ralston taken out. Drury is there too. Little tap in by Richter. Ralston bear hug right in the circle. No holding on the play. The official keeps his arm down. Big hit. Chiavaglia getting back in a hurry to apply the muscle. Drury goes in and he hits his man. The Americans looking a little tired out there as that's cleared away. Richter getting the clearance, and the Americans try to get it out of the zone, and they do. Good pass up the middle. Marchant trying to go through. Marchant taken off the plate, and Forsberg throws it over to the far side. Junsson taps it in, and Dunham slows it down for the Americans. Laviolette. Long clearances, an icing call, and I don't know why they do that. That's like kissing your sister. And I said, what do you mean? He says, not very exciting, but the Americans will want those points, that's for sure. They could take them into the next round, and that'll be exciting for them. The Americans sprawling all over the ice. Hansson throws it up to the far side. A chance now as Forsberg brings it in the corner. Crowley all over him. Hansson is manhandled too. Laviolette stays on his man. Crowley moves in with Junsson. 1, 2, 3, 4 Americans. The referee is saying, come on, move it, move it. And now it's starting to get serious.
Well, if he's got a penalty here as his arm is in the air, you can see that Ferrero is saying you better have one from each team. The Swede reacting to Crowley, taking him out along the boards, was coming back with his elbow 2 or 3 times. Eventually, the player was thrown down onto the ice. There should be one of each. You've got a good tight game here, 5-4, both players reacting. Crowley is definitely going to the box for the U.S.
Well, there's a holding call out there. From holding along the boards. And that goes to Crowley at 15-10. Less than 5 minutes on the game. And as you said, folks, they double it up.
You can see the elbows from Forsberg coming back on Crowley as he was pinning him against the boards. Both players guilty of a minor offense.
From the face-off, Howard collects. Time running out on the Americans, but they've done it late before. Lilly looking for places to go. Lilly over his own blue line, drops it back again. And the Americans need support up front. Over the line, Howard shoots it in. Back is Stillman. Stillman, big hit in the boards. All the way back, Beaufait is there. Beaufait with room, gets it right in front. Lilly just couldn't get the shot away, and a bouncing puck bounces nicely for the for the Swedes rather. Going in, the shot goes upstairs with Naslund streaking down the ice.
Anybody questioning the 34-year-old's legs, just watch that breakaway. Naslund walking right away from everybody.
Big pass up the middle to Lazaro with Johansson all over him, and the Americans are called on a two-line pass. But Lilly was cruising in the slot a moment before that and just couldn't get a handle on it.
Mats Naslund off and running. These are 21 and 22-year-old guys chasing him, but he's still gaining. A good shot. Dunham getting a piece.
You could see the way Naslund moved to his forehand, put his body in front of the defenseman so they couldn't interfere and get the shot away. Hornskog in the face-off circle as that comes out over the line. Sacco trying to break through. Hakan-Loob goes deep. Stillman. The Swedes throwing the puck around as they wear down this clock. Hornskog breaks up on the far side. Some good pressure from the Americans, but they got to get a hold of that puck. Svensson, long pass over to the far side. Hornskog moving in, backhander tipped away. Loob, Duboya, back onto the D, and the Swedes are making the full use of this ice. Hornskog, Loob, and the American fans and a few others do not like this style of hockey. Duboya rattles it off the woodwork. Junsson goes in. The Americans are going to have to force him to cough it up. They're not going to be able to stand back. A little tip away, a chance now. Sacco on the boards. Sacco, Hansson takes it off him, and the penalty's about to expire. Laviolette in the corner. Laviolette against Junsson. Drops it back. Rolston is there. Good move by Rolston. Rolston right in front. No one there with a blue shirt on. The Americans have to come out with Crowley now. Crowley off the boards. The return pass goes into the American zone, and time is not on the side of the Americans. Back on the attack now. Rolston, Chiavaglia. Shot comes in. Rolston got a piece of that. Stillman was there to knock it away to the far side. The Americans along the boards, setting it up nicely. Howard shot it in. Rolston, Chiavaglia, and eventually Salo hangs on with Chiavaglia taking a little friendly swipe, nothing too serious. We'll have a face-off in Swedish territory.
Chiavaglia and Stillman exchanging words. Chiavaglia going back to have the last word at Salo. John Lilly looking very intense on the American bench.
What a finish to this game. Both teams are at full strength now. 5-4 the score. The Swedes are leading this one. The Americans have come back a couple of times. Can they do it again? 2 minutes and 9 seconds with Chiavaglia in the face-off circle. That's the time remaining. The referee wants everyone out of the circle. Berglund is having words. Forsberg goes in for Sweden. QIWI and Forsberg. That comes back nicely for the Americans. The shot goes through, deflects away into the corner. Swedes pick it up, and Brett Howard could not trap it in. Watch for the goaltender to come out of his net for the Americans. Little pass along the boards. QIWI trying to feed it through, and the Americans could not get the shot away. A chance again. Drury from the corner. QIWI working hard. Richter gets the shot in. Ferraro on the far side. Drury now. Drury against the boards, and that's flipped high, and the Swedes are just killing this clock off.
Berglund doing what the Swedes want, relieve the pressure, but don't ice the puck, just get it into neutral zone. That's a lot easier said than done.
The Americans need possession in that zone to set it up and possibly take the goaltender off.
Rolston quickly going back to the bench, having a quick seat. He'll be back out, but they're giving him a quick breather.
I like this guy, Darby Henriksen. He's physical, he's fast, he likes to mix it up. Americans got a good find in him, right out to the side of the net. That could have been so dangerous. That squirts away down the ice, and the race is on. Kjellberg going in. Marchand stays on, right out front. Ornskog got the shot, good save. And the clearance down the ice. Ferraro couldn't get onto that one. Laviolette comes in heavily. Kjellberg, big shot upstairs. Save is there from a sharp angle. That's in the net. Lube from an impossible angle puts this one on ice for the Swedes.
The Americans applying all kinds of pressure. The Swedes, once they got out of the zone, a couple of great opportunities for themselves. Ornskog and Kjellberg letting everybody in the building know they weren't going to sit back and play defense, going right at Mike Dunham. Dunham came up with a couple of great saves. Kjellberg on the outside, off shot. He's a left-hand shot going in on the right wing. Dunham has a hard time handling the shot. Lube quickly from a very sharp angle just throws it right back at the goal. There's Kjellberg's shot. Marchand back there to try and clear. Lube is way over inside the goal line, and he somehow puts it in the back of the net.
Less than a minute remaining on the game. What a finish this has been. Just when the Americans thought they were going to level the score, Kjellberg and Lube turn it right around. Forsberg a little push there, and it really is all over now as Richter brings it up. I really don't feel the Americans can grab a couple back in the dying few seconds. That goes over the plexi, and we'll have a face-off. An excellent seesaw battle as we take a look at this again. In off the goaltender as Lube was virtually on that red line.
Kjellberg shot at Donoff. Goaltender Dunham, it quickly went off the backboards right to Lube. Lube is so clever, so quick, he felt, what the heck, I'll just take the shot. He let it go, and it was off Dunham before he could recover and get back to that side of the net. Tim Taylor on the American bench wants 30 seconds to talk things over. They need 2 goals, and they need them in a hurry.
You can see Taylor giving directions who goes where.
If the puck is right at center, they'll want to dump it into the side where 2 players are bursting hard on the outside.
Look at the reactions from Lube.
Hacken Lube talking it over on the bench. He's got that all-important 6th goal for the Swedes to put them back out in front by 2. The Swedes, if they win this game, will have 7 points. That will be 3 wins and a draw from their 4 games. We know that the Slovakians have 6 points right now. They've won today. The Americans are going to be in a battle with the Italians for that 4th and final spot in this group.
They play in a couple of days' time, and that'll be a big one. All of a sudden, that game, the last one of the first round, takes on a whole new meaning. Importance. 29 seconds remaining on the game. Pushed out into the American zone as they work it down. Long shot. Dunham comes off the ice.
That shot going off. Goaltender Tommy Salo. The faceoff should be deep in Swedish territory. Dunham will find his place on the bench. Americans will have 6 attackers.
Well, the Americans need a minor miracle. No, correction, they need 2 minor miracles here to draw this game. The face-off, of course, will be very, very important to both teams. Tim Taylor looks on very anxiously indeed. 20 seconds, Chiavaglia virtually needs to score from the face-off, then take it back to center and bring it back down again to score again. Sacco from a sharp angle. That deflected away, and another shot comes in. The Americans still pound away at it. You've got to give them points for trying out there. Chiavaglia, the side of the net, trying to get it out front. And that's it. Stillman shoots it out of the zone. The Americans take it deep. And that's the hockey game. 6-4, the final score. Sweden beating the USA. Well, the Americans got off to a very strong start. Then Julin got into the game and scored 3 goals. Hansson made it 4-1. And the Americans started to pull themselves back into it. It looked for a moment they were going to draw. And then Lube's goal with a minute to go, 59 seconds rather, made it 64, and that was it.
The Americans, with their first loss now, they've got 3 draws. They just couldn't come back the 4th time. They've got 3 points, the Italians with 2. Those 2 clubs battle each other in their next game. Whoever wins that will be the 4th place finisher in the group.
Well, it's going to be exciting, that's for sure. We hope you enjoyed this one. It really did go right down to the wire. Until next time, from Richard Beaupre and myself, Paul Ferguson, good night.